All right, folks, we're gonna get it set up.
I can stay back, I guess, for a little while, but I can't stay like that for a long time. If I do, I can't stand up ever again.
When you pay to run with Phil's.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am friend Chad Pearson. Welcome again to my channel. We're going to improv right now because I have my time zones all messed up. And I was on my way out the door, and I'm like, you know what? It appears that they're about to start. So we don't want to miss this live. See what the president has to say. See what's going on here. We don't want to miss this live. See what the president has to say. See what's going on here. We don't want to miss this live. Okay, so we're gonna cue this thing up. Hope you guys are having a good day. I'll be with you guys shortly. Like I said, I am setting up as we speak because I thought this thing was a little bit later, but hey, I'm Central Time. So let's see what happens. Let's see what transpires. Let's see what we got here. President Trump to address the nation. Trump address, Fox.
Months ago, I inherited a mess.
That's the last one. We don't want that one. We don't want that one either. We want Trump with Hegseth. Here we go. All right, which one we're gonna go with? That's Forbes. This is Forbes. And let's see what they got here. Nice. White House is blinging, huh? The White House is blinging. Yeah, he blinging today. White House is blinging. See what we got going on here. Yeah, I thought I was in Palm Beach, Florida too. Yeah, yeah, I'm just talking, right? I'm not even accurate. But yeah, we are live. Let me get myself together. Hold tight. You guys watch. Let me know if the president come there, right? All right, he ain't talking yet? Well, come on, Mr. President.
Food security is national security. Phosphate powers America's farmers, but global
Hi, everybody. Here I am at the last second, right? So, yeah, I have my time zones all messed up. And I'm like, okay, it's coming up. I don't know what time it's coming up. Yeah, so I am live. I am live. Somebody help me out. I went on different feeds, and Central Time, I thought Central Time said like 5 o'clock, and then I looked, it said 2 o'clock, like the speech already took place. So has the thing taken place yet? I don't know. I see 47 of you guys already in the chat. Has this thing started yet? Is this a tape? I don't know what's going on. Let me go to JR. JR is usually covering this. Let me JR Investigations. Let's see what he's got. JR. He usually covers this live. Let me see. I don't think he's covering it today. No, JR is not covering it. Okay. Let's see. So nothing yet, people. Nothing yet. We're going to have to stand by. Going to have to stand by. I know everybody's anticipating seeing the president, right? He's getting to be more popular lately. Oh, here he comes. All right, y'all have some manners. Give him a hand. Y'all give him a hand. Let me see some hands out there. Let me see some hands. I see y'all.
It's the first renderings of what we're doing. So I want to wish everybody a big hello and Merry Christmas and welcome to Mar-a-Lago for this exciting announcement of the new Golden Fleet. We're calling it the Golden Fleet that we're building for the United States Navy. As you know, we're desperately in need of ships. Our ships some of them have gotten old and tired and obsolete, and we're going to go the exact opposite direction. We're delighted to be joined by Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, who's doing a fantastic job, and Secretary of the Navy, John Phelan. Marco Rubio is here, who gave a great few words toward the end of last week. He spoke for a couple of hours on what a good job we're doing, which is true. As Commander-in-Chief, it's my great honor to announce that I have approved a plan for the Navy to begin the construction of two brand new, very large, the largest we've ever built, battleships. You know, you used to build the Iowa, the Missouri, the Wisconsin, the Alabama, many others. We had big battleships. These are bigger, but they will have 100 times they'll be 100 times the force, the power, and there's never been anything like these ships. These have been under design consideration for a long time, and it started with me in my first term, because they said, why aren't we doing battleships like we used to? And these are the best in the world. They'll be the fastest, the biggest, and by far 100 times more powerful than any battleship ever built. So if you look at the Iowa, the Missouri, Wisconsin, Alabama, and others, but they were similar in size, some a little bit bigger than the others, but if you take the biggest one, it's 100 times more powerful. They're longer by a little bit, but they're bigger ships, but they hold much more. They use the word lethality. Battleships are the largest, sturdiest, and most heavily armed vessel built specifically for naval combat. While America's built many new warships over the years, they've tended to be smaller, much smaller, and not conducive to where we are and where we're going, peace to restraint. But including, we've been building aircraft carriers. We're going to be upping that also. We're going to be going to a superior aircraft. We have the Ford class. We're going to be upping that to a different class of aircraft carrier. And we haven't built a battleship since 1994. These cutting-edge vessels will be some of the most lethal surface warfare ships. It will be actually the most ever built other than our submarines. We have submarines which will have, in many ways, even more lethality, and we have many of them under construction. Each one of these will be the largest battleship in the history of our country, the largest battleship in the history of the world ever built. And again, it's 100 times more powerful than the previous Iowa class, it's called. Those are the big ones that you see on the show. Victory at Sea. I don't know if anyone's seen Victory at Sea, but it was a classic. They'll help maintain American military supremacy, revive the American shipbuilding industry, and inspire fear in America's enemies all over the world. We want respect. We're going to have it. We already have it. More respected now than we ever were. A year and a half ago, they laughed at us. Now they respect us again at levels that they've never respected us. We envision that these two ships, we're talking about 10, but we're going to start with 2, and we're going to quickly morph into 10. And ultimately, we think it's going to be anywhere from 20 to 25 of these. But we're starting with the first 2 immediately, and we're going to then be very quickly involved with, I think, we're going to do another 8, and then we're going to ultimately and pretty quickly have a total of about 20 to 25. We'll make that determination. We envision that these ships will be the first of a whole new class of battleships to be produced in the years to come. From Theodore Roosevelt, the Great White Fleet, remember that, the Great White Fleet, to the legendary USS Missouri, whose massive guns helped win World War II. America's battleships have always been unmistakable symbols of national power. We stopped making them for whatever reason, I don't know. And I want to congratulate John Thalen, who is your secretary of the Navy. He came to me the first day we met. He talked about battleships, and I said, "You're absolutely on the right track." He said, "Why are we doing other things? We have missiles, which are much more expensive." By the way, these battleships have tremendous numbers of missiles, but they also have guns. And in many ways, guns can do the trick just as well as missiles at a tiny fraction of the cost. Once completed, these new 30 to 40,000 ton plus vessels will be the flagships of the American naval fleet, and there has never been anything built like them. And I just want to, be very clear that we're building them here. We're working with others. We're building them here. We have great Navy yards. We'll be negotiating with some of the companies that are running those yards, taking over the yards. We used to build a ship a day during World War II. Now we don't do ships very much anymore. We do military ships, we do submarines. By the way, we're 15 to 20 years advanced in our submarines over anybody else. That was one of the things that I did in my first term. We make the best submarines by far in the world. We're at least 15 years advanced ahead of anybody else in submarine development. Most powerful, that's right, the most powerful weapon anywhere in the world, undetectable. So the battleships are going to be armed just in terms of guns and missiles at the highest level. They'll also have hypersonic weapons, many hypersonic weapons, state-of-the-art electric rail guns, and even the high-powered lasers that you've been starting to read about. We have lasers where you aim the laser at a target and it just wipes it out. We're going to have, they'll be the most sophisticated lasers in the world, and the most sophisticated laser in the world will be on the battleships that we're building. They'll also carry the nuclear-armed, sea-launched cruise missiles currently under development, which will be instituted pretty quickly, but they're under development and they've proven to be designed of these ships along with some are very aesthetic, alongside partners in industry, and we're going to have Hexa, Marco, and a lot of very talented people involved. But a lot of it's already been done. We've been doing this. The construction will create thousands of jobs. We're going to have the jobs be created. I mean, already we have factories being built unrelated to this, although AI will be a big factor when it comes to the ships. They'll be very AI controlled. Today's announcement is yet another step in our mission to make the United States Navy stronger than ever before. Again, when you talk about 100 times the power of these massive ships that we had years ago, it's pretty amazing. And next week I'm going to meet with the defense prime contractors. I'm going to meet with them here, Florida. And we're going to be talking about production schedules because they're too slow. We have many countries, allies, that are wanting to buy. We make the greatest equipment in the world by far. Nobody's even close, but they do them fast enough. So we're going to be meeting with them, talk about the production schedules. We're going to have strong production schedules. And the only way they're going to be able to do that is to build new plants. Even with the F-35, we have many people who want the F-35 fighter, and it takes too long to deliver to allies or to ourselves. It takes too.
Oh my goodness.
And CapEx spending will be just the pay to executives where the 45 and 50 million a year and not to build quickly. They're going to make that kind of money. They have to build quickly. Again, with the best equipment in the world, but they don't make them fast enough. And we're going to be also discussing dividends. We want the dividends to go in the creation of production facilities. So we'll be talking about all CapEx, dividends, and we're also going to be talking about buybacks. They spend so much money on buybacks. They want to buy back stock. I don't want them to buy back their stock. I want them to put the money in plant and equipment so they can build these planes fast, rapidly, like immediately. I mean, I have sold planes in any president, or times probably 20. So every time I go someplace, I sell 100. That includes commercial planes, Boeings, etc., but it also includes fighter jets. And I'm always having to say 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, helicopters, many years. India, they want to get them, they don't want to wait a long time. So we don't want to have executives making $50 million a year, issuing big dividends to everybody, and also doing buybacks. And then they say, well, we don't have the money to build a plant. They got to build plants. Plans to make F-35s, plans to make helicopters, plans to make the F-47 new jet. And that's it. And that's what I'm going to be talking to them about. They're going to start spending money on building airplanes and ships and the things that we need, not in 10 years and 15 years. We need them now. And we're strong about it. Last week, the Navy announced a brand new class of frigate, and they're going to be working with the South Korean company. Hanwha, a good company, recently agreed to invest $5 billion in Philadelphia Naval Shipyard. And the Philadelphia Shipyard, once a great yard, now it was a long time ago decommissioned, but now it's reopening. Working with the Navy and working with private companies. The record-setting defense bill I signed last week authorized $26 billion to build new ships, including destroyers and various others. We already have a lot of submarines, as you know, under construction. We're building a lot of submarines. I tell you, to be exact, we have right now 15 submarines under construction or ready to start. And we have, again, the greatest submarine in the world with our technology, like they talk about ships. Well, I would say submarines are a bigger deal than ships. We have we're at least 15 years ahead of any other competitor. China, Russia, nobody can come close. We're also building right now 3 large aircraft carriers in addition to the ones we have. And we have actually, interestingly, we have a lot of submarines. How many submarines do we have now altogether, approximately? Huh? What? We have over 30. But these are the super duper subs, and there's nothing like them. So we're going to be doing from 12 to 15 brand new submarines. We have a couple of other things going on. We'll be building other elements of Navy. We'll be fixing up headquarters. We'll be fixing up places for our great sailors to live. And we're going to be working very hard with companies, but we're also going to be penalizing companies that aren't doing a good job. For instance, when they built the Ford, Gerald Ford, the cost overruns were ridiculous. That was done in Norfolk, Virginia. We're going to be talking about that with that company. The cost overruns were out of control. In World War II, the United States built upwards of 4 ships per day. Can you believe it? 4 ships a day, on average. And now there weren't all big warships, but there were ships, freighters, tankers. And it's a tragedy that we allowed this incredible capability just go astray. We don't do that much anymore. We do build our warships, but that's about it. But that's a lot. We're going to restore America as a major shipbuilding power. We're going to ensure the USA is the most powerful fleet anywhere in the world. And long into the future, with battleships helping lead the way, and the submarines, and again, nobody competes with us on submarines. So I just want to thank everybody, and I'd like to ask Secretary Hegseth to say a few words, followed by the Secretary, but if you would, Secretary of the Navy. But Pete's doing a fantastic job. By the way, we have, drugs are down 96.2%. coming into the United States, 92.6 by sea, and soon we'll be starting the same program on land. The land is much easier, but every one of those boats that we knocked out saved 25,000 lives. So we saved 25,000 lives every time we knock out one of those boats with the drugs pouring in, and you just have to see it. I mean, people say, "Oh, gee, do you think it was really drugs?" Well, just take a look. Bags all over the place. That's not fishing equipment. There's no fishing rods on those boats. They move fast. When you see a boat with 4 engines or 5 engines on, going 40, 50 miles an hour, well, they get hit. We save 25,000 lives every single time we knock out a boat. And it's over 96% stopped by sea. We're trying to figure out who the other 4% are, frankly. And we're going to have the same success, but even quicker, because it's much easier on land. If they want to come by land, they're going to end up having a big problem. We're going to get blown to pieces, because we don't want our people poisoned. 300,000 people died, probably last year 300,000. A lot of people say it was 200. Somebody said last night, it was only 175,000 people. That's like 3 stadiums, big football stadiums filled up with people dying. But I think the real number is 300,000. We're not going to have that anymore. So we're doing a great job, and we enjoy doing it. Our border is secure. Our country is strong. Trillions of dollars is coming into our country from other countries and companies. They're building factories and plants, including auto plants, all over the United States of America. Without tariffs, they wouldn't be doing anything, although they were very happy with the November 5th election. But it's only because they want to avoid paying tariffs that they're all coming in. And again, the biggest number was $3 trillion in history. It was China many years ago. Now it's $18 trillion, and that's just in 10 months. We think we could hit $20 trillion. That's investment in the United States, including plant and equipment. So thank you very much, and I'll ask Pete to say a few words, and then John, if you have any questions, we'll take them. Thank you.
Mr. President, you're exactly right. There are no fishing poles, no fishermen, and no fishing boats. Just drug dealers and narco-terrorists. And with every strike, we're saving American lives. No other president who's willing to do real deterrence. That's exactly what's happening. It's an honor to be here, Mr. President, Mr. Secretary, Secretary Rubio, to talk about what peace through strength really looks like. You can talk about it, or you can invest in it, and you can build it. And that's exactly what President Trump is doing. At the Department of War, we're restoring the warrior ethos. In fact, the President mentioned the NDAA. We put into law merit-based. We put into law getting rid of DEI and political correctness. That's now part of how our military operates. And you've seen it in record recruiting, the spirit of the Department of War. We're rebuilding the military. President Trump did it once. He's doing it again with historic investments today in shipbuilding. And we're reestablishing deterrence, whether that's at the border, whether it's through Golden Dome, what happened with Midnight Hammer, what Iran found out, those drug boats, and of course the Houthis opening up the shipping lanes. American strength is back on the world stage. And the announcement of the Golden Fleet, anchored by new battleships, the biggest and most lethal ever, accomplishes all three of those things and marks a generational commitment to American sea power. Across the entire department, we are developing new operational concepts, deploying cutting-edge technologies, and making major investments, including in our Navy. This is happening in all domains, including space, as the President has talked about before anyone else. So it's the highest of domains and the lowest of domains under sea, and especially today in sea power, that always has to be decisive, has been in the history of America, and will continue to be under the leadership of President Trump. We will make sure that anything that flows from our country and with our allies flows freely and uncontested. New and better ships will provide that deterrent today and for generations to come. This new class, these new investments, will be the types of things that for decades, for centuries, the American people will look back and thank President Trump for having the vision and the willingness to invest right now in capabilities we need today, tomorrow, and long into the future. So, Mr. President, thank you for this investment, and I'll hand it over now to the Navy Secretary.
Mr. President, Secretary Hexeth, Secretary Rubio, thank you for being here on a very consequential day. From my very first conversation with President Trump about serving as the Secretary of the Navy, he's talked about the great Iowa-class battleship and why America doesn't build ships anymore with that kind of offensive firepower that takes the fight to the enemy. During my time in the job, I've talked extensively with our combatant commanders, like Admiral Paparo and Admiral Cooper, and our CNO, Admiral Cotto. What I've learned is that not only is the President's idea a good one, it's something that the Navy desperately needs and now has a formal requirement for. The future Trump-class battleship, the USS Defiant, will be the largest, deadliest, and most versatile and best-looking warship anywhere on the world's oceans. I want to thank the President for his vision to make this game-changing capability for the United States Navy. The Iowa was designed to go on the attack with the biggest guns, and that's exactly what will define the Trump-class battleships. Offensive firepower from the biggest guns of our era. This ship isn't just to swat the arrows. It is going to reach out and kill the archers. And for the first time in generations, we'll have a new leg in America's nuclear deterrence, because the Trump-class battleship will carry the nuclear-armed, sea-launched cruise missile. Striking dominance isn't all that the Trump-class battleship brings to the fight at sea. Command and control naval forces far out to sea. As shown in the series, and the President mentioned it, Victory at Sea, Admirals Bull Halsey and Raymond Spruance commanded the war in the Pacific from their battleship flagships during World War II. Now this new battleship will command everything from warships to drones and everything in between. We're going to make battle groups great again. And this is just one piece of the President's Golden Fleet that we're going to build with the investments he talked about. A new frigate, the right frigate, the one our warfighters have told us they need. More amphibious power for our Marines with new capabilities like a medium landing ship. As part of the Navy's high-low mix, we're moving out aggressively on unmanned vessels with funding for the President's One Big Beautiful Bill to bring options to the fight and pull new, non-traditional defense partners into the American shipbuilding ecosystem. And we're making a generational investment in support ships. Logistics wins wars, and that kind of shipbuilding is the spark that will ignite the industrial base and help power the commercial shipbuilding that the President has called for. Under your leadership, Mr. President, we will have more tonnage and firepower under construction than ever before in our history. Building the President's Golden Fleet means jobs across the United States, now. There'll be work for shipyards everywhere, from Philadelphia to San Diego, from Maine to Mississippi, from the Great Lakes to the Gulf Coast. And for manufacturers that will build components for this battleship in every state. The President has been clear. We must bring back our American maritime industrial might. And he has told me many times that as Secretary of the Navy, it is my job to equip our sailors to win the fight at sea with the finest ships in our history. To conclude, the USS Defiant battleship will inspire awe and reverence for the American flag whenever it pulls into a foreign port. It will be a source of pride for every American when it brings home our brave sailors who will sail defiant, raise their fists, and say, "We are peace through strength." And our adversaries will know when the Trump-class USS Defiant appears on the horizon, American victory at sea is inevitable. Thank you, Mr. President. Now when a conflict arises, you are going to ask not one, but two questions. Where are the carriers and where are the battleships? Thank you.
I just want to mention that John Phelan is one of the most successful businessmen in the country, in our country. Been a tremendous success. Wanted to do this, and for nothing, he's taken probably the largest salary cut in history. But he wanted to do it. He wants to rebuild our Navy, and you needed that kind of a brain to do it properly. So I just wanted to give you a little information on him, which is probably enough. One of the most successful men in the country, and he's that because he understands it, and he understands finance in addition to what we're talking about. Somebody's doing a fantastic job is Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, and Marco maybe say a few words, and then we'll answer some questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President, and I don't have much to add. This is a phenomenal presentation. Thank you, Mr. President. This is American industrial power returning. This is the ability, once again, to rebuild, to have industry in the United States. This is a generation in the change, not just in terms of applying American war power, increasing our ability to protect the seas. The U.S. Navy is the single biggest source of peace in the world of all of our forces because it gives us a global footprint. But it rebuilds American industrial capacity. The ability to make things again in our country has been critical to what the President's agenda has been all about, and this is a tangible reminder of it. And the country is grateful for it, and generations of Americans will be grateful for it. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. By the way, I think I'd just like to point out that these ships are made of steel as opposed to aluminum. It's a big difference, as you know. Battleships are great battleships at 6 and 7 inch steel hulls, and these are going to be likewise made out of very powerful steel. Our steel industry is coming back very strongly, by the way. It's coming back in record numbers, and we're going to be using them for the steel, but as opposed to an aluminum side, which, in all fairness, it's not the same. So, John, we're going with all steel, I understand. And it's going to be something that people are supplied more expensive, but not even comparable in terms of the importance and the strength. Yeah, please.
Timetable for these first two ships, and do you see them as a counter
Yeah,
to China?
we'll start almost immediately, and we'll be probably talking about 2.5 years.
In terms of the mission, do you see it as a counter to China?
It's a counter to everybody. It's not China. We get along great with China, have a great relationship with President Xi. And not China, it's just everybody. You don't know who comes along. But we just wanted peace through strength. Hopefully we don't have to use them. But there will never be anything built like these. Think of it, those battleships are incredible. These have 100 times the power. Think of that. And they were big and they were powerful. You know, I thought about taking some that are in dry dock and changing them, and then when I said that, you know, if we did, would be about, we could increase, if we doubled them, they'd be at like just a tiny fraction of what one of these, but this is the new technology, which is incredible. So we decided pretty early on not to do that. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, Willie Rosas with Most Peace Without Media. You just referenced the lower amount of illegal drugs that are coming by sea, and you just said that you're going to start that same program on land soon. Are you just referring to Venezuela, or are you referring to other countries of Latin America?
Anywhere drugs are pouring in, anywhere, not just Venezuela. Yes.
Speaking of Venezuela, oil, what are we going to do with the oil that we have?
Do with what?
The oil that has been seized, the United States seized 1.9 million barrels of oil December 10th.
We're gonna keep it. We're keeping it.
Where's it, are we going to sell it? What are the strategic
Maybe we'll
oil
sell it, maybe we'll keep it. Maybe we'll use it in the strategic reserves. We're keeping it. We're keeping the ships also. Yeah, please.
About Venezuela, sir, have you spoken to American oil companies that have had their assets seized about what a post-Maduro
Yes.
Venezuela would mean for them, and what coming back and restart?
For so many years, it's just come amidst the rising tensions between the U.S. and Venezuela.
We're talking about with Venezuela.
Yes.
We had a different kind of a president before me. They didn't mind being ripped off. They didn't mind being robbed. They didn't mind drugs pouring into our country. They didn't mind the jails of Venezuela and Trinidad being empty to the U.S. where they take over Colorado and other places. I do mind. So you had a different kind of a president. I hope people are enjoying it because we've never been respected more than we are now. Yeah, please.
Thank you. Mr. President, were you surprised by the number of photos of Clinton and Epstein files? And can you commit to their and we the number of photos of Bill Clinton and Epstein files, and can you commit to their full release by the end of the year? Some of the victims were protesting that too many of them were redacted.
I know there are a lot of people that are angry about all of the pictures of other people. But I think it's terrible. Look, I don't like, I always got no, nice to him, he's been nice to me. Respect him. I hate to see photos come out of him, but this is what the Democrats, mostly Democrats, and a couple of bad Republicans are asking for. So they give it their photos of me too. Everybody was friendly with this guy. Either friendly, but then he was around, he was all over Palm Beach and other places. The head of Harvard was his best friend, Larry Summers. And Bill was friend of his, but everybody was. I actually threw him out of Mar-a-Lago as a person who was in Mar-a-Lago. I threw Mar-a-Lago. It's the hottest place I think it's the hottest place in the world, but it's the hottest place in Florida. And everybody would come here. We actually threw him out. No, I don't like the pictures of Bill Clinton being shown. I don't like the pictures of other people. And I think it's a terrible thing. I think Bill Clinton, a big boy, he can handle it, but you probably have pictures being exposed of people that innocently met Jeffrey Epstein years ago, many years ago. You know, highly respected bankers and lawyers and other, and because of guys like Massey, who's a real lowlife, who's and by the way, the great state of Kentucky. If you look at Kentucky, Kentucky is such a great place, but I don't know, they've got a couple on there that are very strange in terms of leadership, but Massey's a loser, and he likes it, and then he works with the Democrats. He's just big by the Democrats, because what this whole thing is with Epstein is a way of trying to deflect from the tremendous success that the Republican Party has. Like, for instance, today we're building the biggest ships in the world, most powerful ships in the world, and they're asking me quite Jeffrey Epstein. I thought that was finished. I believe they gave over 100,000 pages of documents. And there's tremendous backlash. It's an interesting question because a lot of people are very angry that pictures are being released of other people that really had nothing to do with Epstein, but they're in a picture with him because he was at a party, and you ruin a reputation of somebody. So a lot of people are very angry that this continues. A lot of Republicans are angry because of the fact that it's just used to deflect against a tremendous success. Look, we have $18 trillion coming into our country. We have, I believe, we're going to have the most successful economy in history. We inherited a mess. Now prices are coming way down. Gasoline is less than $2 in some states. $1.99, $1.97, $1.95 a gallon. $1.95. Think of that. A gallon. Nobody ever thought they'd see that. They don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about Epstein. And the problem is a lot of Democrats are being caught up in the web, like Larry Summers. Larry Summers was the head of Harvard. He's now been forced to resign from every board he's on, and he was thrown off the Harvard board. Now, he was at Epstein's Island a lot. I wasn't. I never went there, by the way. But fortunately, it's nice. But I never went there. But a lot of people did go there. But instead of talking about the battleships, or instead of talking about most favored nations drugs, we're bringing down drug prices like at a level that has never even been thought of, by thousands. Think of it, by 1,000%, by 1,200, 1,300, 1,400% in some cases. A drug that sells for $10 in London is costing $130 in New York. We're bringing it down to $20, and they're going to go up to 20. So they're going from 10 to 20, which is a doubling. It's a doubling. It's a lot, but it's a doubling. But we're going down to 20. So we're going down, if you can do your own math, but it's 2,000%, 3,000%. It's pretty amazing. And you know, the New York Times had a story about it, a small story, way in the back of the paper. It's the single biggest thing to happen with respect to drugs probably in 50 years. It's never been anything like this. In my first term, I was able to get drug prices down 0.25%. It's the first time in 28 years that they went down. 0.25%. I'm so proud of myself. Now we're doing them 2,000%, 1,500%, 1,200%. That pill that sold for $130 will now be selling, as an example, for $20. Because the rest of the world took advantage of us. Without tariffs, I could have never done it. I called up the heads of the countries. As an example, France, I spoke to a very good man, President Macron of France. And I said, Emmanuel, you have to raise your drug prices. He said, no, we will not do that. I said, you have to. I said, no, I don't want to do that. Look, you asked me if we go to $10 to $20, you're going to come way down to 20. We don't want to do that. Now, in all fairness, no other president even tried. But if they did try, there was actually a fake story in stupid USA Today. I didn't even think they'd make it anymore. I haven't. But I saw a story where Biden was trying to do this. Biden never tried to do it. Biden didn't know he was alive. He never tried to do it. But they're taking it from $10 to 20. So he would say, and the other leader said the same thing. No, we won't do it. I said, no, you're going to do it 100%. They said, no, we're not doing it. We're not going to double our price. Because, again, if you go from $10 to $20, you're doubling that price. We're coming now, though, from $130 to $20, because we're going to get the lowest drug prices in the world. Whatever the lowest price is called favored nations, we're going to have the lowest price. So I said, no, you're going to. No, I will not do this. Politically, it's unacceptable. I said, Emmanuel, you're going to do it 100%. Please accept it now. Be nice. You're going to do it 100%. No, I will not. I said, yes, you will. He said, why do you keep telling me I am when I'm not? Because if you don't do it, I'm going to put a 25% tariff on everything France sells into the United States of America. And that's approximately 20 times more than I'm asking for with respect to drug prices. He said, oh, I see. I agreed to do it. Every other country said the exact same thing. They all said, no, I will not do it. I said, all right, on Monday morning, you'll have the 25% tariff, everything you sell. In the case of France, it was wine, champagne, cars, everything they sell. It's 25 to 30 times the price of what we're at 25%. Every single country agreed. And that was a big problem. The drug companies were difficult, but fine. Because we had a certain control over the drug companies. We had no control over these foreign nations. So every single country has agreed to do this. So we will take that pill price down, as an example, talking about not just pills, we're talking about everything. We'll take it down from $130 a pill down to $20 a pill. And the rest of the world will take it from $10 a pill up to $20. It's the biggest thing ever to happen, and it's covered, barely covered in the New York Times, because it's a fake newspaper. Yeah.
President, on shipbuilding, how is the administration plan to ensure that there's sufficient workforce availability as you're producing these ships?
Could you speak up?
How does the administration plan to ensure there is sufficient workforce availability as you're producing these ships?
We're going to have tremendous workforce availability. We're also going to have robots helping us. We're going to have a lot of robots helping us because we need it. And because we're going to town, we're building a lot between the AI and the auto plants. So we're going to need robots. We're going to have robots, but that's going to help us. We're going to have a tremendous workforce, and in order to operate you're always going to need people. You know, you can have robots, but you're going to have to get somebody to start those robots, and you're going to have to improve the robots. But we're going to have robotic factories plus manpower. So we're going to have enough. We're going to need the help of robots and other forms of, I guess you could say, employment. We're going to be employing a lot of artificial things, but the beauty is we're going to have more jobs than we've ever had. Just so you know, I think a number came out the other day. We have more jobs right now in the United States. More people are working right now in the United States than at any time in the history of our country. Think of that. Pretty amazing. So we'll have the help of, you know, mechanical help, if you want to call it that. But we'll have tremendous employment. They'll be paid a lot of money. They'll do better than they ever did. Okay?
Mr. President, some may have been expecting a different kind of announcement today, hearing your Secretary of War and Secretary of State here. You mentioned strikes on land in Venezuela more than 15 times, even now just in your recent remarks. Why should Maduro take your threats seriously? And
He can do whatever he wants.
What's your end game?
Maduro?
What's your end game?
So answer. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, we have a massive armada for.
Welcome to the Go Route Replay, sponsored by 76. Today, Peter and I are looking at our
South America. He can do whatever he wants. It's all right. Whatever he wants to do. If he wants to do something, if he plays tough, it'll be the last time he's ever able to play tough. But they sent their prisoners into us. They sent people from jails, prisons. They sent people from mental institutions and insane asylums into the United States. Just walked right in because Biden had an open border policy. What the Biden administration did to our country can never be forgotten. They took in millions and millions, 25 million people over the course of 4 years. Many of those people were murderers and drug dealers, prisoners, rough prisoners. 11,888 murders. More than half of them killed more than one person. They came into our country. Now, I spoke to Christine Noem today. I spoke to Tom Homan today. They came down to see me. And we had a great meeting. They've done an amazing job. We're getting them out. We're getting them out very fast. But this should have never happened. But Venezuela was one of the. Venezuela took advantage of the open borders that Biden created more than any other country. Tren de Aragua, we had gangs all over. Look, I mean, you have a very weak governor in Colorado. Look what happened in Colorado where they would occupy apartment houses. And he didn't want to do anything about it because he was scared. Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, please.
So in response to the United States taking sanctioned oil from Venezuela, Colombian President Gustavo Petro criticized the United States by saying, well, the Southwest is stolen land and that it should be returned to Latin America. I just wanted to know what your response to that is.
Well, he has to watch because, you know, he's got drug factories. They make cocaine in Colombia. And he's no friend of the United States. He's very bad guy. And he's got to watch his ass because he makes cocaine and they send it into the United States of America from Colombia. We love the Colombian people. I love the Colombian people. They're great people, energetic, smart, great. But their new leader is a troublemaker. And you better watch it. You better close up those cocaine factories. They have at least 3 major cocaine factories. We know where they are. You better close them up fast. Yeah. By the way, it's made in the United States. It comes through Mexico.
Thank you, sir. You've named Governor Landry to be a new special envoy to Greenland. How do you, what do you see that role entailing? And is it still your intention that
Well, he
Greenland
called
become
me.
part of
You know,
the
he
US?
viewed Louisiana, the Louisiana Purchase. He said, I'm governor of Louisiana. And he said, I would love, I didn't call him, he called me. He's very proactive. He's a great guy. He's a deal guy. He's a deal maker type guy. And we need it for national protection. We need Greenland for national protection. They have a very small population. And I don't know, they say Denmark, but Denmark has spent no money, they have no military protection. They say that Denmark was there 300 years ago or something with a boat. Well, we were there with boats too, I'm sure. So we'll have to work it all out. But he felt very strongly, we need it for we need Greenland for national security. Not for minerals, we have so many sites for minerals and oil and everything. We have more oil than any other country in the world. We need Greenland for national security. And if you take a look at Greenland, you look up and down the coast, you have Russian and Chinese ships all over the place. We need it for national security. We have to have it. And he wanted to lead the charge, so we're making him, Marco, today, a special envoy to Greenland. Greenland's a big deal.
Can you give an update on the talks that took place this past weekend, and could a trilateral discussion of sort be the next step for Ukraine and U.S. and Russia?
So the talks in Ukraine and Russia are going along. They lost, as you know, 27,000 soldiers last month, mostly soldiers, some people in Kiev, etc., but mostly soldiers. And the talks are going along. And I say that, there's tremendous hatred between these two leaders. Between President Putin, President Zelensky, tremendous hatred. And I hope we can get it done. We are talking, talks are going okay. But, I've solved 8 wars, and Thailand is starting to shape up. They started with Cambodia, they started up again. But I think, Marco, we have that in pretty good shape to have that stopped. So we stopped 8 wars, and I thought this would be in the middle of the pack, but maybe easy, but in the middle of the pack. But there's a lot of hatred between those two people, and when there's hatred, But we stopped one war 38 years, one war 35 years, one war was going on for 32 years. And we stopped, think of it, we stopped a potential nuclear war between Pakistan and India. And the head of Pakistan, highly respected general, is Field Marshal, and also the Prime Minister of Pakistan said, President Trump saved 10 million lives, maybe more, by getting that war. 8 planes were shot down. That war was starting to rage. And he actually said the other day that President Trump saved 10 million lives, maybe more. So we solved all these wars. The only one I haven't solved yet is Russia, Ukraine.
Are you looking for the Christmas Day deadline with Russia and Ukraine? And have you spoken with Putin or Zelensky or plan to push the deal?
I have to do, and I'd like to see it stop. Look, we don't lose any money in that war anymore. Biden gave $350 billion, and who knows what happened to it. We now sell missiles, planes, all of the best military equipment. We sell it to NATO. We got NATO to go from 2% GDP to 5%. Nobody believed that to this day. Nobody's going to write that. Nobody believed it. And they take that money, they pay it to the United States for weapons. So we sell weapons to NATO. We sell full price. We sell weapons to NATO, and NATO takes those weapons and probably distributes them, but gives a lot of them to Ukraine. So we don't lose any money like we did with Biden. He was spending money like a fool. He was a fool. What he did to our country is so horrible. But he gave $350 billion between cash, gave a lot of cash. $350 between cash and weapons. You remember at the beginning of that whole thing, I gave them javelins, and javelins are the anti-tank busters. And President Obama at the time gave them sheets. I gave them javelins, they gave them sheets. But the bottom line is I think they're all tired of that war. Everyone's tired of that war. It's got to stop. Yeah, please.
The U.S. was in active pursuit of and sanctioned oil tanker yesterday. Are you able to share what became of that tanker? Was the U.S. able to seize
No,
it?
it's moving along. We'll end up getting it. Yeah, we're actually pursuing it. Can you imagine? Because it came from the wrong location. It came out of Venezuela. And it was sanctioned. Yeah, please.
Goal in Venezuela to force Maduro from power.
Well, I think it probably would. I can't tell. That's up to him what he wants to do. I think it would be smart for him to do that. But again, we're going to find out. Look, Venezuela did terrible things in the United States. They sent hundreds of thousands of people, millions of people into our open border. They sent their criminals, they sent their prisoners, they sent their drug dealers, they sent their mentally insane and incompetent people into our country more than any other country. Others did too. The Congo did. Others did too, and we just let them come right in because we were run by a stupid president. But you don't have a stupid president anymore.
Mr. President, have you set up the meeting with the healthcare insurers just yet? And what are you hoping to get? How
I'll
are
be
you hoping
setting
to
it up.
grow
I
the
think we're gonna
process?
meet with the healthcare insurers, the insurance companies. So what I'm asking for in healthcare is very simple. Obamacare is a disaster. I call it the unaffordable care act. Unaffordable as opposed to if it's unaffordable. They're gonna have a tremendous increase in premiums, which is Obamacare, which is them, the Democrats' fault. They'll try and blame Republicans. That's nothing to do with us. It's the Democrats' fault. What I want to do is we spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year that go to insurance companies. I want that money to go to the people and let the people buy their own health care. And everybody loves it. It's become our issue. Now, before I do that, I'll meet with the insurance companies, just as I met with the drug companies. As you know, we're meeting with 4 other drug companies in Jackson, but they've all agreed. We're meeting with them this week. It's coming up. It'll be a similar meeting. They've all agreed. But nobody would have thought the drug companies were going to do what they did, where they're giving away free drugs. And they've been so great. Okay? And we have most favored nations. Nobody thought that was possible. I don't think any other president ever tried to get it because they never thought they could. But with respect to the insurance companies, I want to meet. There's essentially 14 of them, 10 big, but there's a total of 14 pretty much, pretty big. And I want to meet with them, and I want to say, I want you to cut your rates way down, way down. And maybe if they do that, we'll not cut them out. We'll be able to continue to deal with them, which is probably a little easier process. I think the best process is paying the money directly to the people, let them buy their own health care. But I'm going to meet with them the first week back. I do it now, but they're trying to come up with a schedule. They badly, they've told me, but they want to come up with a schedule. I said, make it a good schedule. Your rates have to come way down. We're also going to meet with other insurance companies because under Biden, the insurance rates have gone through the roof. Auto insurance, home insurance. I mean, insurance companies are making far more than they're entitled to make. So we're going to be doing that. But just in the meantime, we'll be meeting with the insurance companies in the first week, the first few days back in Washington, because they're trying to come up with a proposal that will satisfy me. Thank you very much, everybody. Appreciate it. I hope you're going to enjoy the battleships. They're going to be beautiful. Thank you. And have a great Christmas if I don't speak to you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay, so we got to see the president. Yeah, Mr. President in the house. Let's close that off. Well, people, he mentioned a lot of things, and all things battleships, and I did a video a little while ago where a few people in the Army said that under the anonymity, never pronounced that right, that one of the battleships is going to be named after him. I have to do some research, unless someone wants to do some research now. Can you guys hear me? I should have done a vocal check, but I heard myself earlier. But yeah, they said a few of the battleships should be named after Trump. We will see. But yeah, thank you for the clarification. You know, I just couldn't help but think about the Roman Empire. It's like, it's literally formatting just like Rome. Gladiators and football, entertainment, right? Spending money on warfare and spending money on the troops. I mean, and stretching yourself worldwide, globally, having different skirmishes, making enemies, and now you're building ships and submarines and peace through strength. And the blind side of Julius Caesar, yeah, gold ballroom, right. And it's just, it's like your mind goes back to when you first start reading about Rome or watching film about Rome. And it's cut from that cloth. I don't know how you guys feel, but it's just OJ's, money, 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 money. And then you're stamping it by putting your name on it. Hey, look what I did, right? And like I said, in the spirit realm, I do believe this is an entity move where entities want to be like the Most High. Remember, a third of the angels were in concert with their thinking, with Satan want to be like the Most High. So entities, they have a pyramid structure, just like a pyramid on a dollar bill or that in Egypt. And the ones at the top of the pyramid, they want to be worshipped. I'm not going to sugarcoat the thing, but that's what I believe is happening in our realm, because normal people looking at the way things are, they would take care of the immediacy. I used to be a troubleshooting manager with KFC off and on for a few years. And what a troubleshooting manager does in restaurant, I would go into the store that would have bad sales, not good customer service, sanitation issues, inventory issues, you name it. Maybe 6 or 7 things they would have wrong with the restaurant. And my goal was to go in and look at the store over the last 3 years and see what I could do to fix it. Sales, customer service, sanitation, cleanliness, health inspection, all that. And so I was taught and trained to take care of the immediacy. And so much of what you hear from President Trump is that Biden didn't do this and Biden didn't do that. Well, when I think about one of my first history classes, and somebody kind of helped me out here, some president back in the day, he said that be prepared, be brief, and then be seated. What president was that? Somebody help me out. You guys ever heard that before? Be prepared, be brief, and then be seated. You don't always have to go back and tell what the last person did. Who cares? We know about the damage. That's why they put you there. That's why they elected you. And your biggest sound is you taking care of the immediacy. Oh, no, it wasn't Bush. It wasn't Bush. It was way back in the day. Not to disrespect you, but it was a famous president back in the day. Maybe Woodrow Wilson, somebody like that. They said that. Be prepared, be brief, and then be seated. But yeah, you don't have to mention what Biden did. Take care of the immediacy and let it shine. Dwight D. Eisenhower? Okay, maybe it was him. I don't know. But yeah, I'll have to Google it later. But yeah, people, it's beginning to be a broken record. FDR, it sounds like, yeah, it might have been FDR. It's beginning to be a broken record to me, that you have to mention what Biden did versus what he didn't do. In my mind, it's two wings of the same bird. And now this is the one to be the hero. But from what I can tell is that the money is going into the pot of, again, and I guess I'm a broken record at this point, the money is going into armed services. The money is going into AI. And we're getting a promise. I was hoping that he said that you and I would get some checks. I mean, 5 days ago, he gave all the service people a check, $1,776. They probably got their checks because he said they'll get them before Christmas. I guess the elves and Rudolph said, nope, they're not getting the check. So I'm very disappointed with this administration. We have 11 months of this thing. He was inaugurated January 20th. And all I'm getting is promises. That's all I'm getting, baby. I don't know how you guys feel. I do see interviews on social media. I mean, for people to say that he's doing a great job, I'm saying to myself, where at? Because my thing is, if the immediacy of we the people hasn't been taken care of, then I don't care how many missiles you have to defend me, my motivation is zero. Thank you for the compliment. And I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed. But why would I be surprised? These are the last days. I was driving home today and I was thinking, if these are truly the last days, it's going to be the opposite of Eden. Again, I'm going to say it again. I was on my way home today and I was thinking, you know what? If these truly are the last days, it's the opposite of the Garden of Eden. God said, go forth, subdue the earth, that is to manage it, maintain the beautiful things that I blessed you with, subdue it, that is to manage it, be fruitful and multiply. Well, you know what? In this in this crazy environment, how can you multiply unless you're part of the 1%? How can you multiply unless you're over 100 grand a year plus? And even that's not even enough if you have kids, because now you have health care, you have insurance in case you, of course you get sick. You have life insurance in case one of the spouse die. The cost of insurance, whether it's health insurance or life insurance, then you throw into the mix daycare, groceries. We're not in a good place in America. And being that we're going to roll into our 200, think of it like this. We're about to roll into our 250th anniversary, right? Many of us live in check to check. That's not a celebration. This is not, people, I'm just keeping it real. This is not a good celebration. We just finished our 249th celebration. The celebration, again, is in AI, technology, Silicon Valley, making battleships, and making submarines. I mean, it's not, and again, I can't spin a promise. Back in the day, I forgot what president was. My brain is kind of fogged about history right about now. Sometimes I can spill it out just like that. But there was a president back in the day, I want to say Roosevelt. Was it the Manpower Act where they put people to work? Remember, somebody help me out. Remember back in the day, I think it was Roosevelt during the Depression. They put people to work. And of course, it was government funded. But I think to a certain extent, it was funded, yet companies got involved and they retooled America and people went back to work and they helped rebuild our economy. This is what I'm expecting out of Trump, the immediacy. I don't want to have to keep up with everybody's technology. But of course, if you're an entity, you're thinking, I need the technology because I want to have the George Orwell effect. And I'm thinking that if I'm in charge, I'm driving around all the big cities and the very plighted neighborhoods, whether it's black, white, whatever, and I'm looking, what can I do as a leader? What can I do as a president to help the congressperson, the senator, the alderman, the ward committeeman get a neighborhood back on its feet since you said Joe Biden destroyed it? What can I do? What does he do the first day, January 21st? He invites all the millionaires and billionaires to tech. And they're setting the destiny of America on a promise. I just don't, I'm just disappointed with their focus and their projections. Because if you don't lift up the people who are we the people, then you really don't have a country. And the more and more I analyze it, the more depressed I get, not in spirit, but I'm depressed that what God intended from the Garden of Eden, we're missing the spot. And it's not, WPA, thank you, God bless you. The WPA. We need a modern day WPA. And you know what? I'm so glad that you gave me that WPA, because the WPA can be worked in so many facets. I'm not saying it was the best program, but you can have a WPA And all those multi-million dollar companies and billion-dollar companies that came to the White House, they could have funded it. And the same so-called companies that are funding the ballroom, they could fund the WPA. And think of it like this. If you run that program for at least 2 years, I don't think it would take the average neighborhood to rebound. Because people that I know and people that I grew up with, they're very resourceful, right? Y'all know how it is in poor communities, you know. You can make a slab of bacon and a bowl of soup, make it into a miracle. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what did Tupac say back in the day? Mama would take scraps that she was given and make miracles every Thanksgiving. Now I'm just being, funny about it, but think about what I'm saying. 2 years of a WPA of all those companies, by and large, or arguably, I don't know the number, so don't beat me up, but all those $1 million and billion-dollar companies that came to the White House, arguably, didn't we make the purchase to make them rich? You see where I'm going with this? We made them rich. And yeah, they make investments on the money that they made from the sales of their product. I get it. But by the same token, you wouldn't have got that spillover of money had we not bought your computers and all your technological equipment. You see what I'm saying? So now you want to take it back to the White House and you want to reinvest in the thing, but you're forgetting about the people that got you started, that basically gave you seed money to grow. That's why I'm really disappointed with America and the leaders around the world. But this has got to be the last days, because if I'm talking about it, people at the barbershop are talking about it, people at the restaurant are talking about it, people at the beauty shop, at the nail salon, people out playing cards, they talking about it. Like, hey, you know what? We can run a business. We've run businesses. We became successful in businesses. And if we can make it happen with these budgets that we're allocated for, certainly the president can have the vision to say, look, time out for that plan. I'm not saying throw away the technological program plan. What I'm saying is that the immediacy of the problem is that fathers and mothers are working overtime, a job and a half, 2 jobs. Probably 50% of the kids in America are raising themselves. You feel me? So if you want to really make America great again, then you take care of the immediacy. It's all about refocusing how you want to do it. And I don't have all the answers. I'm just sharing my experiences. When I had a problem restaurant, the first thing I got to do is take care of the immediacy. How do I drive sales? How do I get a customer to come in? I need to clean up my restaurant from head to toe. I got to make it exciting. I used to tell people, between McDonald's and Burger King and KFC, do you know we spend millions of dollars every quarter telling people how good our product is? And then they come into the restaurant and sometimes we give them mediocre service. I used to tell my cooks, just because you might not be up front serving the food and put it on the plate, the food that a person sees in the box or on the plate when they eat in the lobby, they're seeing what you put into it. Well, Mr. President Trump, if you're listening, you're seeing what the government has put into us. We can only do so much. If we're working all the time, if we're stressed all the time, we can only show so much in terms of us glistening. We're not glistening. And people are dying early. They're getting sick earlier. They're getting stressed earlier. They're not raising their kids properly because they're away from home. Maybe mama's raising them because daddy's at work and vice versa. I'm just very disappointed about the America that I've seen since I was a kid. And every time you turn around, every 48 years, we get a new president with a different soliloquy, right? I'm going to make America great again. And what was Obama? What was Obama? What was his slogan? Somebody, yes, we can. You know, it's just one slogan after another. And after a while, you be like, man, cut the slogans, baby. Just get a plan. I mean, America after World War II, you history buffs, correct me, remember we did the Marshall Plan back in the day? We go and bomb the hell out of people, and then we spend $1 billion overseas to rehab the country we just bombed. You understand what I'm saying? At some point, you got to look at history in America and say, you know what? We bomb people, we rebuild them. We go through a recession. Where's our rebuilding? Where's that? Okay, you build another missile. And then you had, 3 years ago, you got Vice President Pence. What does he do? He puts his name on a bomb. Remember that? Remember that? Vice President Pence, he wrote his name on a bomb. He wrote on the bomb that was going overseas. The bomb probably cost a couple of $100,000. Our priorities are so screwed up. They're just so screwed up. And I want you guys to understand, and I hope that I'm speaking for people here through my channel, because I know you guys are fed up, and I appreciate you guys, being with me through the year. Thank you. Happy holiday. But people, we're about to go into our 250th year anniversary. And this man is talking about building battleships. Come on, man. Come on, man. You want to tell me we that far behind in battleships? I don't know if I believe that. I would have to do the research. I don't know. I'm not trying to offend anybody in the armed forces. You know your business. I can't believe that we're that far behind. And again, the investment starts in the people. Because if the people are invested in, to me, that's your best defense, especially in a spiritual sense. Because when God made us in his image, thank you for the love offering. Think of it like this. Your best defense is a happy, nurtured, spirit-filled, devoted, be thy brother's keeper American. Okay? And I don't care whether you're saved or not. If you got a square meal, if you got a decent place to stay, if you can go to school without it being a noose around your neck for the next 20, 30 years in terms of paying back all this college tuition, if you can raise a few kids in a beautiful community and not have to worry about the boys in the hood shooting it up. And my thing is that, like I said in the other videos, when they start dealing with Venezuela, I don't want to hear this crap about you stopping drugs, because that's something Richard Nixon was supposed to do, and that was way back in the 70s, the war on drugs. I don't know how many of you all were alive then, but put it in the chat if you were, just put a hand up. Richard Nixon started the war on drugs. Let me tell you something. If you give people a chance, if they're living good, the majority of them are not going to get high. It's just recreation. You feel me? Because a lot of people get high as a way of just escaping, or they're inquisitive. But with the right education, and you give them something to do and the right environment, and you just protect your neighborhood. Because here's the thing. You can't stop everything from coming over the border, okay? There's so many ways to get from A to Z. You can walk, bicycle, rollerblade, take a cab, take an Uber, take a camel, fly, take a bus. There will always be a way to get drugs over here, people. I'm just keeping it real. Or you can grow them here. So I don't want to hear that crap about you got a war on drugs. Your best war on drugs is to let the best of the best patrol their communities, make stiff penalties, have a good rehab program where you're just not putting people in jail, but you rehab them. You literally rehab them. You show them the destructive part of drugs. You teach them that you can be a better citizen in your community, in your society, because X amount of drugs in a community means X amount of crime. Teach people what this thing does. Teach them what it does. Teach them that in grammar school and high school and drill it in their brain. Show them films. Let them talk to people who have lost some of them brain cells from smoking that stuff or drink or smoke, whatever they're doing with it. Prevention is on your own shore, not bombing the hell out of somebody else in a foreign country where I can't even spell Venezuela. And I'm not saying that's not important. What I'm saying is this. I'm going to give people the benefit of the doubt. I didn't meet my daddy till I was in my mid-20s. Because I was in church, because I had extracurricular activities, I had a YMCA, because I didn't like gang violence, I never got high. I never got high. Maybe it was the Spirit of the Lord in me. Maybe because I had a grandmother that would whoop my butt. Maybe because I was going to Bible study twice a week. Maybe because I was going to the choir. Maybe my parents, they kept me busy so I didn't have to do that. You understand? Recreational things to do. Girl Scout, Boy Scout, something. Then the percentage of somebody getting high, it would automatically go drastically lower. Then you don't make all these stupid movies about boys in the hood. I don't need to watch no boys in the hood, especially in my community. I already know what the hell the boys in the hood look like. I don't need to see that. I don't need you reinforcing boys in the hood, pouring out a little liquor, men pulling out their Johnson, getting women pregnant left and right. Then 15 years later, they get women pregnant left and right. That's the cycle. So now you got no home training. Half the kids ain't got no man in the society. Women acting like hoochies. Men calling women H's and B's. Women calling each other's B's. Now you got these stupid rappers out here. And then we go and ban it because we want to be cool. So now I'm a bad bee. I'm a bad bunny. You know what I'm talking about. And now you're getting pregnant. And now the kids acting all crazy. And they getting high. And all it takes is 2 or 3 generations of that and you done. I don't know who the person is I'm going to quote. But I read this over 50 years ago. This leader, I think it was from Russia. He said, when I'm ready to march and take over America, I don't have to fire one shot. That is a quote that I read when I was in my teens. He said, when I march on America, I won't have to take it over through bullets. I will not fire one shot. I don't know what he meant, but I know what the hell I'm looking at. And I am tired of these so-called presidents and this Congress who can allocate money and let people like me and you who got common sense. You cannot protect the border tomorrow when it comes down to drugs. If you got people who understand what drugs can do to kill a community, they will protect itself. You will protect yourself. Ain't nobody got to tell you to stand up for your mama. You ain't got to go to school for that. You got your firstborn child. Ain't nobody got to tell you to take care of your baby. That's common sense. Well, we got to teach common sense again to protect your neighborhood, your community, your state, your city, and your country, and the borders. But we got to have one mindset. But we can't keep pushing on the silver screen. You don't like white. I don't like black. You got a different sexual preference. I hate you. Even though my religion teaches me one thing, I get that. But it's a big America. Everybody ain't going to be converted. I try to pray for them, but I'm not talking morals in terms of sex. I'm talking about having a place to be. This system has fooled us so much with so many wedge issues. We might wake up one day and all the little things we was arguing about that kept us from working together, we ain't gonna have no damn place to stay. Or we might not have no money. Or we die of a heart attack from high blood pressure from working ourselves to death. I don't like what Trump is doing, and I guess you can tell. I don't like what he's doing. We can do better. If I could change the words of the Bible when God said everything is good, I would interject the word brilliant. Brilliant. God is brilliant. God didn't make no dummy. God didn't make no dummy. What happened over time is that either we injected ourselves, we consumed something, we were taught the wrong thing, we were in the wrong neighborhood, the neighborhood went crazy, and we became a product of our environment. That's what happened to America. We got sanitized, and we got away from the biblical. We got away from tradition. We got away from culture. That's why I can admire people from Saudi Arabia. I love American women, but I really understand and I can really appreciate certain cultures because they keep their culture. We're a mix of cultures, and sometimes we just all mixed up. But you go on the information highway, on social media, I don't care what woman it is, every woman got to show their backside. I don't care what color she is. Somebody say amen, because you know what I'm talking about. That's the new culture. Let me see how big your butt is, girl. Go ahead. Let me see that. That's what we're valuing. We're reducing how we look at God's brilliance. That's the problem. Because if you get these messed up, you get this messed up. If you get this and this messed up, the direction of the community and the state and the county is done. And that's what they've done. They've put all this crap in our minds. And we're not maintaining what God will bless. The universe will bless you if you do the right things. But when you don't do the right thing, you're out of order. And these demons, these entities, they're scientists. They're social planners. They know exactly how long it would take, 2, 3, 4 generations to get us to this point. Then they show us a few John Wayne, Clint Eastwood movies and Rocky Balboa and Incredible Hulk. And every time you turn around, you got to be strong. You got to be big. You got to be tough. Go to the gym. You can be a warrior. Go ahead, fight, kill somebody overseas. That's what they're drumming in our boys' brain. And they're telling the women, just look sexy. Just look sexy. Look sexy. They throwing that crap in their brain. So that's what you got. You got those two extremes. I don't care what you do on social media. She got to be sexy and he got to be a beast. How about he start using this? How about he start learning how to be a father and a man and a leader? Make a budget. Value money. Have some manners. Stop spending money on rap videos, calling the woman that you say you love, calling her a B. Telling that rapper, you know what? I'm not buying your record because that's mental poison. And I don't want you playing that around my wife because she's 6 months pregnant. And I don't want my offspring, while it's in the belly of my wife, listening to garbage. We got to go that deep as men. God made brilliance, and we got to start thinking brilliantly. The studies have been done. I didn't make it up, but they make a lot of sense. Your wife is 5, 6, 7 months pregnant, and all you hear is music calling somebody a B and an H. You don't think that baby's hearing that? Whatever your wife is consuming, whether it's physical or mental or spiritual, guess what? It's biblical, because the Bible says, train a child in a direction he or she will go, and he will direct that path. God can't direct that path if you get off the path. We need this type of talking to as America and the world because we outnumber them, but they out-strategize us because we fell from the brilliance. God made brilliance. When the Bible says he made us in his image, it's good. Come on, man. It's brilliant. God made brilliance. I've never seen the sun shine less than what it was designed to do. I've never seen a moon half glow or a star never twinkle. Everything else in the universe reaches its phoenix. What is our problem? We've been reduced. God made brilliance. And what I see from Trump and other presidents and this failed Congress, they're not respecting the brilliance of God. That's my sermon today. They're not respecting the brilliance of God. And we need to start respecting the brilliance of God. Your woman is not a B. She's not an H. Your son is not a bastard. Everybody was given the potentiality to be something. Everybody has the capacity to do 2 or 3 things good if they're given the right environment to hone their skills. And I'm not knocking the athletes and the entertainers, but it's more than just catching a ball and throwing a ball and hitting the ball. That's not your priority. Your priority is to walk with God through your understanding of what he designed this brilliance for. That's what it's about. We need more men to act like what I'm saying. And I ain't saying I got all the answers, but I'm not accepting this war, this Caesar mentality. I want to build more ships. I want to build more submarines. I want to make more AI. I know where that's going. The biggest investment Trump could ever make is in me and you. And we will protect what we got. It's just common sense. Like I said, ain't nobody got to tell you to take care, to literally take care of your home. You will naturally do it. Whatever you build, you're going to secure it. I don't need a president bombing somebody else somewhere else. I need him to invest in me. I know a foreigner when I see one. Let me tell you what's foreign. It ain't just the one that come over here illegal. It's the one I just told you about. The one who won't walk that straight and narrow. Because I know, I grew with a lot of people who weren't Christian, but they had good morals. And they had good value. They had good family value. The Bible college I went to it had nationalities and cultures from around the world. You would have never called a woman a B. You would have been expelled. You heard what I just said? The college I went to and the time that I grew up in, if you had brought that rap music and all that foolishness to my college, you'd have been thrown out. We lowered the standard. We have lowered the standard. We can't do that anymore. If you're of God, then let it be. Let it shine. And I believe once you reach a certain standard and you pray, because the Bible says what? When you turn from your wicked ways and a contrite heart, God will hear from you. He will heal your land. But I got a buddy, we talk about it every month. It might be too late in some respects. That's why I'm really preaching. We're going to have to hold on. We're going to have to endure. Ask God to cover you in his blood. And ask God for angels. Because they have corrupted the human being. And the earth will never yield the positive fruit that it was designed to do. Because human beings, we have dominion. We have the deed to everything that happens. But once we lower the standard, You reap what you sow. And so now these entities, these dark entities, they can do anything they want to because they know they've already conditioned us. And they know that some of us are so busy, we're not going to challenge them no way. And a lot of us have given up because we haven't seen anything happen in our generation. And so we just like, okay, whatever. But people, God never intended for the world to be like this. But like I said, from the outcome, if these are truly the last days, however it was designed, it's flipped in the last days. It's going to end dark. Because that's how Satan rules and reigns. He rules and reigns in the dark. But he comes off as an angel of light. And so I want to keep piercing the light, and I want to endure with the light. And I pray that this channel can get you the proper information, you get the proper revelation. And if you don't know the Lord, it's time. Because these people are so bold with what they're doing. They want a one world system. And they've been pushing it down our throat for generations. They put it on the chest of Hulk Hogan decades ago. Nobody ever asked Hulk Hogan, what does NWO mean? But I was shouting from the mountaintops back in the day. People thought I was crazy. It's a one world system. They finally going to get their wish. But the beautiful thing about all this, we are one day closer to the coming of the Lord. The question is, are we going to be ready? Are we going to be ready? That's the question. I can't force Jesus on you. I can't jam it down your throat. All I can do is plant this seed. Jesus Christ, the Son of God. We're going to celebrate his death, burial, and resurrection on the 25th. But the devil's a copycat. That's also the birth date of Ra, the sun god. But we are giving our lives, our love, our obedience, and our thanksgiving to someone who gave us grace and mercy. And I am so glad that he did that, because if he did not, where would we be? All right, people. Glad you guys could join me. I'll do another video later on. Please support the channel. Thank you guys for being here. 3 days from now, I might go live Christmas. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see. But today is the 22nd, 2/2. I'm not surprised he spoke today. But yeah, we've got 9 more days before the end of the year. So yeah, I do plan on doing a few more live videos between now and then. And every time something major come up, the plan is I'll be there. So thank you people. Praise God from whom all blessings flow. Thank you guys for the love offering. I do have Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal. I don't know if I can pull that up right now. No, if it show here. I do have, if you guys can see that, it's kind of small. Yeah, it's kind of small. I'll try to put it in the link. I have Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal. I would type it, but it'll take all day. But yeah, you know what? It's already in my description. I keep forgetting that. If you just go to my site, it's in the description. I have Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, and PayPal. Also have a P.O. box. But yeah, thank you guys for being with me on short notice. Thank you guys for watching the show. We are growing. We have about 3,000 new subscribers. And that's a beautiful thing. We have 45,000, and hopefully we'll have 46,000 by the end of the year. And my last channel, we had 127,000 subscribers. So let's see if we can do 100,000 subscribers. Yeah, let's go. We can do it. We can do it. We can grow this thing. The more that we support each other, you know what? I believe God smiles on that. Not just me, but anybody who's preaching and teaching this word, because people, sex won't do it. Getting high won't do it. Money won't do it. Nothing satisfies you until you get right with the Lord, okay? Until you get cleansed. You can't really see the way you're supposed to see. You can't really walk the way you're supposed to walk. And you really can't serve and understand this thing called life until you get with the one who made life. And that's it. His name is Jesus, okay? I can never pay him back. He saved me, and he put up with my crap, okay? I can tell you. I ain't always been a good boy. But you know what? I've always known that he was there. And I can tell you it's the right way to go. It is the right way to go. Sometimes we want to take that shortcut. But you know what? If you just do it right and you start seeing God bless, you learn to appreciate him, okay? Learn to appreciate him. There is a creator. He sent his son. Even though we messed up, he still said, you know what? Man, I gotta go protect, I gotta go get the lost. And we're just going through a short time period. Remember, a second with God could be 1,000 years with us. So he's been very patient, and he loves you, and he wants to give you his grace. But most of all, he wants to establish a relationship with you because he wants you to touch people as well, because he did give you a gift. He gave everybody a gift. And you're supposed to let your gift so shine that when someone asks you certain things, you can witness to them as to why you are the way you are. And that's that glow. That's that magnet. Nothing replaces that, okay? Nothing turns that off. The most powerful force on the planet is your word. The Holy Spirit comes in and boom, you all good then, all right? All right, people, love you. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a good evening. And again, thank you for your support. Thank you for the love offering. You guys have a good evening. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.